Coming live from the studio, this is All Sports with Gerardo. Thank you for watching another episode of All Sports. This is your host Gerardo, and all I talk is sports. On the show today, I am going to talk about the coronavirus and NFL football. Before I start the show, I hope you all had a great week. To start off, at the middle every month, I post a video or talk about one stadium I went to. So stay tuned for future videos from stadiums across the US. For the month of March, I posted a video where I talked about Comera Park and my experience there. You can go watch that video on YouTube. You can also view videos from the past and subscribe to my YouTube page at All Sports with Gerardo. Moving on now to the coronavirus. The 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo will take place in the summer of 2021 from January 23rd through August 8th. Wimbledon has been cancelled, and this will be the first time it has been cancelled since World War II. So if we take a look on how the coronavirus is affecting the sports world, even up until now, it's still affecting the sports world, just like it has for the last few weeks, and just like it will for the next few weeks. Now, even the experts and everybody else doesn't really know when this coronavirus pandemic is going to come to an end. And it's expected to last for a few more weeks. But according to the experts, we haven't even reached the peak, and we definitely have not seen a decline in the coronavirus, regardless if it's here in the US or anywhere else around the world where this coronavirus is taking place. And it's been hard for these last few weeks, especially for the sports world, not seeing any sports playing. No matter what sporting event or what league it is, there are no sporting events playing right now, especially the ones that are in season. And it's been like that for the last few weeks, and it's going to continue to be like that for the next few weeks. And nobody really knows when this coronavirus will come to an end, and nobody knows when sports can return. But if sports happen to return, no matter what league or what sporting event it is, there's a great chance that when sports returns, that you can only watch those games or sporting events on TV. At first, it seems like if sports happens to return, especially for particular leagues, you're not going to see any fans in stadiums or arenas at the beginning. And it's going to take a while, according to the experts, until you see fans allowed back into stadiums and arenas, no matter what sporting event or what league it is. Also, right now, it should be the end of the NBA and NHL regular season, and we should be seeing the playoffs in the NBA and NHL starting to begin. We should have also seen the beginning of the Major League Baseball season. It should have now been the regular season. We should have seen the Masters playing right now. And that's just to highlight some leagues and some sporting events that should have been happening now or in the next few weeks. But unfortunately, we're not going to see that happen for the next few weeks. And hopefully, regardless of what league or sporting event it is, I just hope that sports can return. Hopefully it's pretty soon and sometime in the next few weeks. According to experts, they're making predictions on when things can improve and possibly get back to normal, which is in the next few weeks. But that's just predictions. And nobody really knows if that's really going to happen. It could be a longer time period. It could be at that time period, or it could be a shorter time period. But it just looks like the way everything's going on right now, no matter where you are around the world, it just seems like it's not going to be a short time period, and it possibly may not be around dates or months that are currently being predicted right now. It seems like it's going to be a longer time period, and it's definitely going to be a few more weeks. And we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with this coronavirus and when it comes to an end. But it looks like it's not going to happen anytime soon. And we have to reach its peak and start to see a decline before things can get back to normal, regardless if it's the sports world or everything else that is on hold or shut down right now. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Being a sports fan, I've never experienced something like this take place in the past, where the sports world's just on hold and there's not any sports playing right now, regardless of what league or what sporting event it is. Myself and many of you all have probably never experienced something like this take place in the past, and hopefully something like this won't take place going into the future. But the one way that I've been trying to get through this hard time period, especially since there's no sports and you can't watch sports on TV and you definitely can't go to stadiums. Since I'm a sports fan, and I've always liked basketball from a young age, and I had played basketball from a young age up until the end of my high school days. Since I have a basketball hoop, I go outside and play basketball so I can get through this time period, since there's not any sports playing right now. But also, since the gyms are closed, I'm also going outside to play basketball so that I can play basketball, a sport that I like, and I get to see some type of sport, since there's not any sports playing right now. But because gyms are closed, I'm also getting my daily exercise in, and I get to go play basketball when the weather is nice. So during this time period, even though gyms have been closed and there's not any sports playing right now, since we have to social distance ourselves from other people, we can't go anywhere because almost everything's closed. You can't see any sports on TV or go to stadiums because there's not any sports playing. I've been going outside and playing basketball, since basketball is one of the few sports that you can play by yourself, and all you need is a basketball court, a basketball hoop, and a basketball, and you can play basketball. And since there's not sports playing right now and the gym's closed, since I'm playing basketball, I'm actually getting two for the price of one. I get to play basketball because I like sports, and so time will pass because there's not any sports playing right now. But because the gyms are closed, I'm also playing basketball to get daily exercise. So the one good thing about me playing basketball is that I'm getting two for the price of one. I still get to see some type of sport, play some type of sport, and I also get to get my daily exercise in. But I really hope that this coronavirus will come to an end sometime in the next few weeks. And since the sports world has been put on hold, and even our normal everyday lives have also been put on hold, since we have to stay home and we can't go anywhere because almost everything's closed, and you can't see any sports on TV or go to any stadiums because there's no sports and the stadiums are closed. It's been tough to get through this time period. especially since you have to stay home. And I've been trying to do whatever I can to get through this time period, especially since places are closed. We have to stay home and there's no sports playing right now. So one of the ways I've been getting through this time period is by playing basketball, and I will continue doing that until the end of this time period. But I really hope that this coronavirus comes to an end sometime in the next few weeks, and we can see sports return, and we can get back to living our normal everyday lives. But for the next few weeks, until this coronavirus comes to an end, if anything happens in the sports world, no matter what league it is or what sporting event it is, and it's in regards to the coronavirus, or even if it's not, I will update you of all the information that you need to know in regards to the sports world and how the coronavirus is affecting the sports world. So make sure to tune in to the next few All Sports with Gerardo shows, and if there's any new information in regards to the coronavirus and how it's affecting the sports world, or anything else happens in the sports world, I will update you with all that new information. Right now I'm going to take a commercial break. When I come back, I will talk about the NFL. Welcome back to All Sports with Gerardo. Moving on now to NFL football. After playing 20 seasons with the Patriots and becoming a free agent this offseason, Tom Brady decided to test free agency, and he left the Patriots for the Buccaneers. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers have agreed to a 2-year contract. In Tom Brady's 285 regular season games with the Patriots, he had 219 career wins, 74,571 passing yards, and 563 touchdowns. When Tom Brady played in the playoffs, he had 30 wins, 11,388 passing yards, 79 touchdowns. He is a 6-time Super Bowl champion. He is a 4-time Super Bowl MVP and a 9-time AFC champion. In Tom Brady's 20-year NFL career, he is a 6-time Super Bowl champion. He is a 4-time Super Bowl MVP. He had 9 Super Bowl appearances. He is a 3-time regular season MVP. He won the AFC East 17 times. He ranks second in all-time passing yards and passing touchdowns. He ranks first in all-time wins. He has 58 career game-winning drives, and he is a 14-time Pro Bowler. In Tom Brady's career games against the Broncos, he has a 8-9 overall record, and the Broncos are the only team he had a losing record against. When Tom Brady played the Broncos in Denver, the Broncos were 3-1 against him in the playoffs. And 2 of those times, the Broncos beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship, when Peyton Manning was the quarterback for the Broncos, and he led the Broncos to Super Bowl 48 and Super Bowl 50. And the Broncos had a 7-4 record here in Denver when they went against Tom Brady. Now that Tom Brady will play for the Buccaneers, he can continue making history down in Tampa, since Super Bowl 55 is in Tampa this season, and no host city has ever had its home team play or win the Super Bowl that season. Who knows how many seasons Tom Brady will continue playing in the NFL and with the Buccaneers, but there's no doubt Tom Brady will try to have winning seasons with the Buccaneers so he can get them into the playoffs and potentially reach and win another Super Bowl for himself and for the Buccaneers. Even though Tom Brady no longer plays for the Patriots and he will now play for the Buccaneers, there's no doubt that Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks, or the best quarterback, to ever play in the NFL. But there's no doubt that Tom Brady ranks as one of the top quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. Even though Tom Brady will no longer play for the Patriots, Tom Brady is going to continue trying to make history in the NFL now that he will play for the Buccaneers. And Tom Brady's goal with the Buccaneers is to try to reach and win another Super Bowl for his resume, but he also wants to win a Super Bowl for the Buccaneers. And we're going to have to wait and see if the Buccaneers ever reach or win a Super Bowl with Tom Brady as their quarterback. We're also going to have to wait and see how Tom Brady and the Buccaneers play this season and next season. As of right now, for the next 2 seasons, since Tom Brady signed a 2-year contract with the Buccaneers, it's looking like Tom Brady will play 2 seasons with the Buccaneers, and he'll play another 2 seasons in the NFL. We're going to have to wait and see how Tom Brady and the Buccaneers play this season and next season. We're going to have to see how many games the Buccaneers win, if they have winning seasons, if they win their division, if they make it into the playoffs, can they advance to the NFC Championship game, but most importantly, can they reach the Super Bowl and possibly win the Super Bowl? That's all questions that we have for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, and we're going to have to wait and see how the Buccaneers play this season and going into the future with Tom Brady as their quarterback. There's no doubt that after the Buccaneers signed Tom Brady to be their quarterback for this season and next season, their chances of reaching and potentially winning a Super Bowl increased by a lot. Before Tom Brady was even going to be on the Buccaneers roster, the chances of the Buccaneers even reaching a Super Bowl, and especially winning a Super Bowl, was pretty slim. But now that Tom Brady is on the Buccaneers roster, and he's going to be their quarterback, the Buccaneers' chances of reaching and potentially winning a Super Bowl has increased by a lot. And we're going to have to wait and see how the Buccaneers play this season with Tom Brady as their quarterback. But a lot of people are excited to see what the Buccaneers can do, especially with Tom Brady as their quarterback. There's no doubt that especially the Buccaneers fans are excited that Tom Brady is on their team and that he's going to be their quarterback. It's just like when Peyton Manning left the Colts and joined the Broncos, and he was the Broncos quarterback for 4 seasons. Myself and the rest of the Broncos fans, that was like the best thing that could ever happen. And we were all excited that Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL, just like Tom Brady, we were excited that he was going to be our quarterback for the Broncos. And just like the Broncos fans did for Peyton Manning and the Broncos, and just like the Buccaneers fans will do for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I can remember once Peyton Manning became the Broncos quarterback, and especially those 4 seasons that Peyton Manning played for the Broncos, those were the 4 best seasons, especially since I've been alive. But even before that, that was some of the best seasons in Broncos history. They were winning seasons. The Broncos were winning their division. They were winning a lot of games. They were making it into the playoffs. They even reached the AFC Championship twice. They reached the Super Bowl twice. And they even won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, which was Super Bowl 50. So those 4 seasons in Broncos franchise history were some of the best seasons in Broncos history, especially with Peyton Manning as the Broncos quarterback. So now that Tom Brady will be the Buccaneers quarterback for the next 2 seasons, and who knows if he'll sign another contract after that, the Buccaneers fans are going to be excited. And they're also going to expect a lot from Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. They're going to want to have some winning seasons, possibly win the division, make it into the playoffs, reach the NFC Championship game. Most importantly, they want to reach the Super Bowl and potentially win a Super Bowl. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. But I can remember when Peyton Manning joined the Broncos fans were buying his jersey, but also the stadium was getting sold out when the Broncos were playing here at Mile High Stadium in Denver. And a lot of fans bought season tickets. So with Tom Brady joining the Buccaneers, I would expect that a lot of Buccaneers fans are going to buy his jersey. The Buccaneers games at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa are going to get sold out, and a lot of fans are going to buy season tickets so the fans can see Tom Brady and the Buccaneers play every time they have a home game in Tampa. So just like the Broncos fans were excited for Peyton Manning when he became the quarterback for the Broncos, there's no doubt that the Buccaneers fans are excited now that Tom Brady is going to be the Buccaneers quarterback. And we're going to have to wait and see how many more seasons Tom Brady plays in the NFL and with the Buccaneers. Could this be the last 2 seasons that Tom Brady plays in the NFL? We're going to have to wait and see. Could Tom Brady play more seasons after these next 2 seasons with the Buccaneers? We're also going to have to wait and see. But there's no doubt that Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. And now that Tom Brady will be a Buccaneer and he's no longer a Patriot, Tom Brady's hoping that he can continue playing at a high level and playing great football at the quarterback position for the rest of his career, no matter if it's with the Buccaneers or even with another team going into the future. But Tom Brady still wants to play at an elite level and still be a great quarterback in the NFL for the next 2 seasons. And we're going to have to wait and see how Tom Brady plays with the Buccaneers. But there's no doubt that Tom Brady is going to try to continue making history, even though he no longer plays for the Patriots and he now plays for the Buccaneers. We're also going to have to wait and see how the Patriots play this season and going into the future, since Tom Brady is no longer the quarterback of the Patriots. We're also going to have to wait and see who will be the Patriots' next franchise quarterback this season and going into the future. But the Patriots are definitely going to explore all their options at the quarterback position, with quarterbacks that are currently on their roster right now through free agency and through the NFL draft. And we're going to have to wait and see who will be the starting quarterback for the Patriots for the 2020 season and who will be their franchise quarterback going into the future. But even though Tom Brady is no longer the Patriots quarterback, the Patriots still have one of the best head coaches to ever head coach in the NFL, which is Bill Belichick. And even though he doesn't have Tom Brady as his quarterback, whoever's going to be the next starting quarterback for the Patriots going into the future, Bill Belichick's going to do whatever he can to make that quarterback successful for the Patriots going into the future. We're also going to have to wait and see how the Patriots play this season especially, and for the next few seasons, since the Patriots no longer have Tom Brady as their quarterback. And we're going to have to wait and see who the next quarterback of the Patriots is going to be after Tom Brady was the quarterback for the Patriots for the last 20 seasons. So for the Patriots organization and for the Patriots fans, this season and going into the future, it's definitely going to be different for them since Tom Brady will not be the quarterback for the Patriots anymore after he was the quarterback for the Patriots for the last 20 seasons. We're also going to have to wait and see how the Patriots play this season since Tom Brady is not their quarterback anymore, and how are the Patriots going to play for the next few seasons going into the future, regardless of what quarterback is starting for them. That is one thing that's going to be interesting about the Patriots. Even though Tom Brady is no longer the quarterback for the Patriots, I would still not underestimate the Patriots, even though they lost a lot of great players, including Tom Brady, during free agency. But they still have some great players on their roster. And they still have Bill Belichick as the head coach. And especially with Bill Belichick as the head coach, I would not underestimate the Patriots, even though their roster is going to be different for the upcoming season. But even if Bill Belichick doesn't have big name players or the best players on his roster, he does everything he can to develop those players and to make them great. And we've definitely witnessed that for the last 20 seasons that Tom Brady has been the quarterback for the Patriots. Regardless of what position it is, on offense or defense for the Patriots, Bill Belichick has been able to develop players, regardless of who they are or what their talent or skills is, and he's been able to make them great players. So we're going to have to wait and see how the Patriots play this upcoming season. Their roster is definitely going to look different compared to the 2019 season, especially with Tom Brady no longer being the quarterback for the Patriots. We're going to have to wait and see how many games the Patriots can win this season. Can the Patriots still have a winning season? Can they make it into the playoffs? Can they advance far into the playoffs? We're going to have to wait and see. We're also going to have to wait and see if the Patriots will potentially reach the AFC Championship, reach a Super Bowl, or win another Super Bowl, regardless if it's this season or sometime going into the future. There's a lot of questions to be answered in regards to the Patriots, and we're just going to have to wait and see how the Patriots play this upcoming season. But if you take a look at some of the other teams that are in the same division as the Patriots in the AFC East, now that Tom Brady is no longer the quarterback for the Patriots, the other teams, especially the Bills, they're going to take advantage of that. And they're going to try to have winning seasons so they could potentially win the AFC East for the first time in many seasons, regardless if it's the Bills, the Dolphins, or the Jets, since the Patriots have won that division for many seasons in a row and many times, especially with Tom Brady being their quarterback. And the Bills, Dolphins, and Jets, especially the Bills, will have a better chance at having a winning season, winning a lot of games, potentially winning their division, making it into the playoffs, advancing far into the playoffs, since they may not have to face the Patriots or battle against the Patriots during the regular season or the playoffs to try to win the division, to try to make it into the playoffs, to win a playoff game. And these three other teams in the AFC East are definitely going to have a higher chance at winning the AFC East, getting into the playoffs, and having a chance at reaching and potentially winning a Super Bowl now that they will not be facing Tom Brady and the Patriots. So we're going to have to wait and see how the Patriots and the rest of the teams in the AFC East play for the upcoming season. But now that Tom Brady is no longer on the Patriots, the Bills especially, but the Bills, Dolphins, and Jets are definitely going to try to take advantage of that so they can try to have a winning season, win the AFC East, and make it into the playoffs. But especially the Bills, after last season battling the Patriots for the AFC East and just missing the opportunity of winning the AFC East this season and going into the future, since the Bills are a young, talented team on offense and defense, the Bills are going to try to take advantage of winning a lot of games so they can win the AFC East and get into the playoffs. Now that they don't have to worry about Tom Brady playing on the Patriots. Now we're going to have to wait and see who wins the AFC East. But there's a great chance that the Bills will win the AFC East, since they're a young, talented team and they don't have to face Tom Brady and the Patriots, but especially Tom Brady this season and going into the future. And after the Bills missed the opportunity of winning the AFC East last season, this season, the Bills' goal is to win the AFC East. The Bills still made it into the playoffs last season, but this season, the Bills want to make it into the playoffs, winning the AFC East. So there's no doubt that this season's definitely going to be exciting, and we're going to have to wait and see how Tom Brady and the Buccaneers play. And we're also going to have to wait and see how the Patriots play and how the rest of the teams in the AFC East play, since Tom Brady is no longer the quarterback for the Patriots. And the rest of the teams in the AFC East, but especially the Bills, won't have that obstacle of Tom Brady and the Patriots and having to face Tom Brady and the Patriots. The NFC South is the first division to have 3 quarterbacks with 50,000 plus career passing yards at the same time in NFL history, which includes Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Matt Ryan. So if we take a look at the NFC South, there's no doubt that this is now the best division this upcoming season, especially with Tom Brady and Drew Brees in the same division. It doesn't get any better than that. And you have 2 of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. And as of right now, for the next 2 years, it's a guarantee that we will see Tom Brady and Drew Brees continue playing in the NFL and with their team for the next 2 years. And since Tom Brady and Drew Brees are in the same division, what does that mean? It means we get to see 2 matchups of Tom Brady and Drew Brees going against each other. And it's not going to get any better than that. And I really hope those are primetime games on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football. Because both those games, regardless if it's in New Orleans or Tampa Bay, definitely need to be primetime games. And to see the Buccaneers go against the Saints, especially Tom Brady, go against Drew Brees twice a year, those are must-see games. Even if you're not a Buccaneers or Saints fan, or you happen to not like Tom Brady or Drew Brees. But there's no doubt that the NFC South is going to be the best division in the NFL this season. Especially with Tom Brady and Drew Brees in the same division. The highlight of the NFC South is definitely going to be Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and the Buccaneers and Saints. But don't count out the Falcons and the Panthers. Those 2 teams are also going to be great teams, especially the Falcons, with Matt Ryan and that talented offense. And don't count out the Panthers either. Even though a lot of players on the Panthers roster that were veterans no longer play on the Panthers, and they have a young, rebuilding roster, the Panthers are also going to be interesting to watch. Especially after the Panthers moved on from Cam Newton, and Teddy Bridgewater will be the Panthers' new quarterback. You still want to keep an eye on the Panthers and what Teddy Bridgewater can do. Because Teddy Bridgewater is still a great quarterback, and when he had to come in for Drew Brees last season, Teddy Bridgewater was a great quarterback. And that's how the Saints were able to win so many games and still make it into the playoffs, even though Drew Brees missed a few weeks in a few football games, was because Teddy Bridgewater was able to come in and take control of the Saints. And he was able to play great at the quarterback position and win games for the Saints. And after the way that Teddy Bridgewater played for the Saints when he had to come in for Drew Brees, I wouldn't underestimate Teddy Bridgewater with the Panthers. And he has Christian McCaffrey, which is one of the best running backs in the NFL. So I would definitely keep an eye on that Panthers roster as well. But every team in the NFC South, but especially the Buccaneers and the Saints, are going to be interesting to watch. But the whole division is going to be interesting to watch. There's not really a bad team in the NFC South. Even though everybody's attention is going to be on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers and Drew Brees and the Saints, I would still keep an eye on Matt Ryan and the Falcons and Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers. And I wouldn't underestimate the Falcons or the Panthers. Even though all eyes will be on the Buccaneers and the Saints, there could be a team in the NFC South, which could be the Falcons or the Panthers, be a surprise team. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the Buccaneers, Saints, Falcons, and Panthers play this upcoming season. And we're going to have to wait and see what team wins the NFC South. But we could also see one or two other teams make it into the playoffs, and they're from the NFC South. Even though only one team can win the division, we could see one or two other teams from this division also be wild card teams. And if all 4 teams play great football and they win a lot of games, now that the NFL has added another playoff spot, which will be another wild card spot, and now that 7 teams can make it into the playoffs, regardless if it's the AFC or NFC, this could be the first time every team in one division has made it into the playoffs. We're going to have to wait and see if that happens. But we have definitely seen 3 teams from one division make it into the playoffs before. So there's no doubt that the NFC South is going to be one of the best divisions this upcoming season, and it's also going to be one of the most exciting divisions to watch, especially when these teams in this division go up against each other, especially when it's the Buccaneers and the Saints, and we have Tom Brady going against Drew Brees twice a year. So I can't wait to see how the Buccaneers, Saints, Falcons, and Panthers play this upcoming season, and I can't wait and see who wins the NFC South. But there's no doubt that the NFC South is the one division you better keep your eye on. And not just the Buccaneers and the Saints. You're going to want to keep your eye on all these teams, because there's a great chance that the majority of these teams, or all these teams in the NFC South, can have winning seasons, win a lot of games, and also make it into the playoffs. And there's a great chance that one of the teams from the NFC South will represent the NFC in the next Super Bowl, and whatever team comes out of the NFC, especially if it's a team from the NFC South, that team has a great chance at winning the Super Bowl if they happen to make the Super Bowl. So I can't wait for this upcoming season, and I can't wait to watch these teams, especially the Buccaneers and the Saints, but even all these teams in the NFC South. After Tom Brady played 20 seasons with the Patriots, Phillip Rivers played 16 seasons with the Chargers, and Jason Witten played 16 seasons with the Cowboys. This season, Tom Brady will play for the Buccaneers, Phillip Rivers will play for the Colts, and Jason Witten will play for the Raiders. Regardless if it's the NFL or other sports leagues, it's very rare that you see an individual player play their entire career with one team. And it doesn't matter who that player is, or if they're one of the best players to ever play for that team or in that league. Nowadays, it's very rare to see an individual player play their entire career with one team. And the way that the business works nowadays, it's very rare that you see an individual player play their entire career with one team, just by the way contracts and money goes nowadays and going into the future. In the past, we have seen many great players play their entire career with one team, regardless if it's the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA basketball, NHL hockey, or other sports leagues. But now, and going into the future, no matter what league it is, it's going to be very rare, especially if it's one of the greatest players to ever play for that team or that league. It's going to be rare to see an individual player play their entire career with one team. For this upcoming season, a lot of veteran players that have played their entire career with one team, we're going to see them playing on a different team for this upcoming season and going into the future. And Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, and Jason Witten were just some of the names that will be playing on a new team this upcoming season after they have played their entire career with one team. But going into the future, no matter what player it is, how great they are, or no matter what league they play in, it's going to be very rare to see an individual player, and no matter how great they are, play for one team for their entire career. And we have seen many great players now and from the past, regardless of what league they play for. We have seen many great players play for just one team. But we have also seen some of the greatest players to play in that league not play their entire career of one team. And towards the end of their career, they were playing for another team. So we're going to have to wait and see if future players will play for just one team for their entire career. But it's going to be very rare to see that going into the future. No matter who the individual player is, and no matter how great they are, or if they're one of the greatest players to ever play for that team or for that league. In Chris Harris's 9-year career with the Broncos, he was an undrafted player and he became one of the best defensive players and cornerbacks for the Broncos and in the NFL. He won Super Bowl 50 with the Broncos. He is a 4-time Pro Bowler. He had 20 interceptions, which is tied for 10th in Broncos history. He had 86 passes defensed, which is the 3rd most in Broncos history since 1994. There's no doubt that Chris Harris is one of the best defensive players to ever play for the Broncos. And even though Chris Harris will not be able to play his entire career with the Broncos, there's no doubt that Chris Harris left a great mark with the Broncos, and he was also one of the best cornerbacks and defensive players to play for the Broncos. And once Chris Harris retires from the NFL, there's a possibility we could see Chris Harris be a Broncos Ring of Famer and potentially be an NFL Hall of Famer. And we're going to have to wait and see if that happens going into the future when Chris Harris retires from the NFL. And we're going to have to wait and see how Chris Harris plays for the Chargers and how he plays in the NFL for the rest of his career. But there's no doubt that Chris Harris is one of the best cornerbacks to ever play for the Broncos, and he's also one of the best cornerbacks playing in the NFL right now. And we're going to have to wait and see how Chris Harris plays for the remainder of his career. There's no doubt that Broncos country will miss Chris Harris, and the Broncos defense is definitely going to miss Chris Harris at the cornerback position. But Broncos country and the Broncos organization wants to thank Chris Harris for everything he did for the Broncos, and they also want to say good luck to Chris Harris on his next chapter in the NFL with another team. Mike Evans joins Hall of Famer Randy Moss as the only players in NFL history with 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons to begin their careers. After playing 7 seasons, center Travis Frederick announced he is retiring from the NFL. The Patriots released Steven Gronkowski. So right now I'm going to update you with everything that's currently going on in free agency. And here are some of the other moves that have happened during free agency up until now. Shelby Harris and the Broncos have agreed to a 1-year contract. Kicker Greg Zernin and the Cowboys have agreed to a 3-year contract. Cornerback Xavier Rose and the Colts have agreed to a 1-year contract. Derek Wolfe and the Ravens have agreed to a 1-year contract. Wide receiver DeMarcus Robinson and the Chiefs have agreed to a 1-year contract. Wide receiver Jermelio Allison and the Lions have agreed to a 1-year contract. Aldon Smith and the Cowboys have agreed to a 1-year contract. Quarterback Blaine Gabbert and the Buccaneers have agreed to a 1-year contract. Demarius Randall and the Raiders have agreed to a 1-year contract. Cornerback Rashad Breeland and the Chiefs have agreed to a 1-year contract. Sammy Watkins and the Chiefs have agreed to a 1-year contract. Guard Brandon Scherf has signed his franchise tender with the Redskins. Derrick Henry has signed his franchise tender with the Titans. The Bengals release cornerback Dre Kirkpatrick. So those are all the moves that have currently happened in free agency up until now. And in the next few weeks, it will be time for the 2020 NFL Draft. There's no doubt that this free agency time period was exciting, but now I'm looking forward to what happens in the 2020 NFL Draft, and it's definitely going to be exciting to see what teams pick what players in the NFL Draft, but especially what players will be picked by the teams that have a first-round pick. So I definitely was excited to see what happened during free agency with all the moves, but now I'm looking forward to what happens during the NFL Draft, and I can't wait for the NFL Draft to happen in the next few weeks. Right now I'm going to take a commercial break. When I come back, I will talk about the end of the show. Welcome back to All Sports with Gerardo. Moving on now, on the next show, I will talk about NFL football and NBA basketball. I hope you all have a great week. Tune in to the next All Sports with Gerardo show next week. I want to say thank you to everybody that listens to All Sports. Subscribe or like my pages on social media at All Sports with Gerardo. Until next time, this is Gerardo.